This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSPORT Fan Network. TalkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Styles with the save. Trent for the second here. A classic counter-attack and Gibbs White puts Nottingham Forest 2 ahead. Here's Wood. 1-0 Forest. Has made an even bigger difference there. Nottingham Forest have snatched the lead at Anfield.
Of Red Side of Trent here to bring you some match analysis of the Swansea game last night as Forest capitulated and imploded in Wales 3-2 after being 2-0 up at half time. Going to look at Burnley as well at the weekend. Why not? Joined by Lee Clark and Danny Tring. Danny, thank you for joining us from lovely Crete. I mean, your missus must be, I don't know, spitting feathers that you're doing a podcast, but commitment, I would say that is.
She not even know I'm gone, mate. She'll be flat out sunbathing. I could just say I've just nipped off. She'll be sound.
All right. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I can't grumble, can I? I'm here in 30 degrees sunshine. I mean, there was something spoilt it a bit last night, but I'm not overall. I'm positive in some aspects, and then the inevitable happening with certain things in others. So,
yeah. Lee, how are you? I know you're a bit upset because a manager called you every name under the sun last night, by the sounds of it, and then the result is affected also your mood. But are you all right otherwise?
Yeah, I'm all right. Standard stuff. We get it for 89 minutes, and then a comment you're saying the 90th minute, and all hell breaks loose. Give it out, can't take it back. Like I say, standard stuff. But yes, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the game, but probably more about the mood, I guess, because I think that's probably quite important. But we'll try and talk about the game as much as we can. But I mean, Danny, it didn't start great. I'm not going to lie. When your club captain gives the ball away from kickoff, I'm not sure what to expect. But we'll just talk about the team first of all, because Ange made 10 changes. Morata was the only one that kept his place. I mean, I was quite eagerly anticipating watching the game purely because of seeing some new fresh faces. I mean, what did you make of that team, first of all?
Well, I think we're always in the same boat. I think we all wanted to see what the new lads can offer. I mean, there's lads there that's not even kicked a ball, didn't they, that started. So, no, the team really picked itself. I know there was some clamour sometimes for people to, I don't know, play themselves back into form, certain personnel, but the team picked itself. I think Morata being selected, probably positive news on the Murillo injury. And like you say, it was a platform for that team, them individuals, to go on and show why they're in the Premier League, why they are level above the team, well, Swansea. And some did and some didn't. And some to perform to the point where if you give Swansea the option to have them for free for the year and we'll pay the wages, they turn around and say there's no chance. There's no chance certain personnel are getting in this squad if you give them us. And it's the same personnel who we get a lot of stick for calling out, and when they have a half decent game, we get told that, well, that lad should be playing for England. That lad should be playing for England. And then, like you say, there's certain other players, Sangari, well, out we know, if he was to perform like Yates performed last night, they'd never want to see him ever again. They'd be put in the Dennis pile, they'd be put in the Josh Bowler pile, they'd be put in the Surridge. I mean, Surridge got it after that game at Blackpool. Folks never wanted to see him play again because he'd missed all them chances. So, no, but team selection, it picked itself for me. And like I say, I think Ange would have, the positives from it, Ange has learned a lot last night about certain personnel, and that's the positive we've got to take.
Yeah. I mean, Lee, from your point of view, obviously, I know you've not managed to watch the full 90 as such, but overall, I think you can say what was good and what was bad just from that, really, from like watching extended highlights or whatever, could you not?
Well, yeah, I mean, the second goal is very good. That's the Ange ball, I guess, that he promised on Saturday when, again, everything Ange says because of his Tottenham debacle and his media conferences, it's going to be blown up when it comes back to bite him, isn't it? And when you've got a manager who's kind of charismatic like that in his media, that's just going to be the nature of the beast. He's not the only manager in this country that we've done that with. I mean, I've seen one this morning that they put his quote from Saturday, and then underneath they put the final score, which is fine, but it needs context. He said he promised Ange ball on Saturday. He said it wasn't a project, and he needed to get results fast. Well, for 45 minutes, we saw glimpses of what Tottenham probably saw in that first season that he managed them when he took them to 5th. So, yeah, that was a positive. I think another positive, you look at the team sheet that came out, I think Yates and Bolly aside, it's quite remarkable that in 4 years that we've been on this journey in the Premier League, our second string now looks as strong as that, to be fair. That is a massive positive. Yeah, I mean, that's where the positivity ends, I guess.
I'm just going to get some comments. So James has put, not too fussed about last night as the players who made the mistakes, Yates, Bolly, Morata, won't be playing Saturday. What I'm worried about is team spirit. I worry for the next games. I mean, Morata wasn't even on the pitch, James, I'm sorry, but I thought actually it was quite solid. I thought Bolly should have got taken off for Cunha rather than Morata, but I think Morata had picked up a knock. Tom Newton just put the kickoff that involved Ryan Yates was the straw that broke the camel last night. Him and Bolly should never have been allowed to board the plane back to East Midlands Airport. I mean, Danny, let's talk about the positives first of all, because I thought, as Lee touched on, the second goal was brilliant, but even the first was really good. I thought Igor Jesus' involvement in the build-up, and obviously Dylan Back was ball out to the left wing to Amari Hutchinson, I thought was sumptuous. And that is, I think that's what Lee's alluding to in terms of that, this Ange ball. Like, it's fast moving, it's players in the box, and let's get some goals, man.
Yeah, 100%. It's exciting, isn't it? I mean, you've got two wingers in Backward and Hutchinson. I mean, this Hutchinson that we signed, that people saying is no good, why we signed him for, I thought he looked absolutely brilliant last night.
Yeah.
He was positive. He was running at defenders. He just looked to beat his man every time he got the ball. He looked, I mean, it's modern football. He could have just been a bit like, spat his dummy out and been like, well, these lads don't want me, fans don't want me, I'm just going to go in and go through motions. He didn't. I thought, you know what, I'll show you what I can do and I can go in this team. Because he played last night like a player that wanted to start against Burnley. And I mean, it direct with the ball, backward, exactly the same. So the positive is you've got a bit of a balance now because you've got two wingers who are going to, with them two, you've got two wingers that are going to run at defenders. So it's not, they're not just going to see the game in front of them now. They're going to have to start looking in behind, which is a massive, massive positive for Forest, because I think sometimes that's what does no out ball. The ball always to feet sometimes does kill us. So I thought they were brilliant. It's like you say, both goals. I mean, the McAtee for the second goal were absolutely outstanding. Little pop off on the inside, ran the channel. Little ball. I mean, the ball across to Hutchinson's absolutely brilliant. Didn't panic, because at the end of the day, these are lads that you've got to look at it. They've got to take their chance. They could rush that. I mean, Hutchinson's awareness for that second goal, he could quite easily be like, I need to score, I need to get on the team sheet. But now he's calm. I mean, what is he, 21 years old? And he's picked that little ball, that little cutback. And I know it looks easy, but you know, in the speed of play, bodies in front of you, it's not an easy thing to do. You can easily just snatch at. I mean, Callum Wendo had one in the second half where he got McAtee lifted it over to him and he's just snatched at it, because obviously that's like, you want to make that mark. Whereas for me, the positives are them wingers. I mean, we've seen it with Undoy in fits and starts that he offers something. Hudson-Odoi seems miles off it this year, miles off it. It doesn't, I think he needs a bit of time out personally. I think all three of them, I'd pick ahead of him at minute. I never thought I'd say that because I'm the biggest Hudson-Odoi fan there is. But I think Hutchinson overtook him last night in a place for minutes, because you can only go and do what you can against the team that's put in front of you. And I don't know if we spoke before that, we said about Louise, you've got to go in and it should look good. Same as saying, I got it last year when we played Exeter. Yeah, but it's only in Exeter. Yeah, but he looked levels above. You should be going against Swansea and look like you're not the best midfielders on the field, because that's football. They can try and look like the effort, and it looks a bit like, oh yeah, but they're trying, and sometimes that grit, that they'll win the tackles, but the actual ability on the ball, the time and space, is where you then have to show like, I'm a level above you. And for me, the wingers did look that, and until they come off, I think Ange is looking at the wide lads, and like I say, Igor Jesus especially, and thinking, well, that's a positive for me. We've scored 2 goals also, haven't we? Do you know what I mean? It's when we've had 2 blanks, haven't we? West Ham and Arsenal. A big positive for him to get 2 goals. So yeah, for me, then the wingers and the forward line looked very sharp to me.
Yeah. Lee, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I just want to get it on record about Hutchinson. Hutchinson is going to have a case of the Sangares with our fans, in the sense that because he costs so much, we all know we overpaid for him. But in reality, he's 21, he's English, so that's going to make him cost more. Just like when we sell Gibbs White, we'll get far more than we should get for Gibbs White because he's English and he's played for England. I know that Hutchinson hasn't yet, but that's what you pay for in this country. But with certain sections of our fan base, it will always be, oh, he needs to do more because he costs 37.5 million. It's just nature of the beast, and I think that's really unfortunate, because I kind of get it a little bit with Sangare, because when we signed him, he was already a ready-made. We signed him because he was among the best in Europe at the matrix we wanted him for. But with Hutchinson, it is a project, and people have got to realise that. Yeah, it's no good every time he does a slight mistake, like against Palace in his debut. He missed that chance, didn't he, when Jesus hit the post, and everyone was like, oh, he's got to score. You're saying he's got to score because, well, yeah, in that situation, he probably should do. But you're intensifying it because he costs so much money, ultimately. And unless he's scoring regularly, some fans will just think he's not doing enough. And I think that's a bit of a shame already, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I thought he was really good. He was bright. Took on his both fullbacks when he switched to the right-hand side as well. He was involved in both goals. He's probably unlucky not to score from the first one, but I thought Igor Jesus, for a guy who a lot of people have had doubts about because his goal record isn't exactly something that comes like shoots off the paper at you or anything. I thought him to get off the mark and score 2 goals. Yes, second one's a tap in, but he's there. The first one, he's done well to follow in the effort. I thought it was a really strong 45 minutes from him. He was probably quite disappointed to get brought off, to be fair.
Yeah, I think the fact he did get brought off probably suggests that A, he's not quite at maximum fitness, and B, that he might be in the manager's thoughts for Saturday, I suppose. But yeah, he looks bright, he looks positive. Again, I suppose he's not at an age where you can call him a project as such, but with Jesus, he's not exactly cost us a fortune, has he, I guess? So he's kind of got a bit of a... He should be capable of kind of relaxing and just thinking, right, every time I get on the pitch, I just need to kind of do something that's going to throw me into the manager's thoughts for the next game. I think actually he might be one of the players that does really benefit from Nuno going, because I'm just not sure he was a Nuno player, whereas everyone's kind of got a clean slate now. So yeah, I think... I mean, if I could have picked one player to score 2 last night and really get his confidence through the roof, it probably would have been him, to be honest. But yeah, again, he looks versatile as well. I think he can probably play anywhere across that front 3 if we need him to. So this is another thing. It's like everyone's saying, oh, I'm not bothered with loss. But this group of players would have had like when the Sky 6 clubs, they rotate their squads. And those sets of players, they play like they think, right, well, we've actually got a chance as a group to secure a Wembley final here. We're good enough. The cup competitions could be ours. We might not get a chance to play much in Europe or the Premier League, but these 2 cup competitions could be ours. So let's, when we were 2-0 up, I'm thinking, well, that's good. It's showing the right sort of mentality. The players are probably thinking, if we win tonight, there's going to be another game next month for me to play in. And then losing, you've got a clutch of players now who might be thinking, oh, bloody hell, when am I going to play again? So, yeah, I don't buy this whole mentality of, oh, well, it's one less competition to worry about. We came in it a round later, and if we won last night, there's 16 teams left in it. I mean, we say that everyone needs to be on the same page at this football club. That's not the fans being on the same page as the owner, because Marinakis wants to win trophies. From the day after we got promoted, he mentioned winning trophies. it's just frustrating that we've still got some fans with that mentality, because in my lifetime, I've never seen us win a proper trophy. The Championship playoff final is the closest we've got. And yeah, I was born when we won one of the League Cups, I think it was, or the Littlewoods Cup or whatever it was. But obviously not old enough to remember it. Careful in the comments. But yeah, you know, it should be a bigger thing than it is in this country. We've kind of glorified finishing 4th and 5th as being successful seasons. I'm sorry, I'm old-fashioned. Winning trophies is a successful season for me.
Yeah, the way I see that team that played last night, I don't see them as second string as such. Maybe a couple of them, but I think a lot of them are capable of starting week in, week out in the Premier League. I think Tupper's hype of Dylan Backwell is evident. I thought he looks a level above. He had the left back on toast majority of the night and floaty feet and all that kind of stuff. But Danny, we'll talk about the capitulation, because it really took the shine off a really good performance. The amount of opportunities we had to score a third goal. I mean, Cali Mwendo has one ruled out for offside. It didn't really get shown that much. It got shown like one angle, and people are saying it was onside, and also then no, maybe that wasn't onside. I think he got brought down, and that could have been onside. I can't remember. But anyway, we had ample opportunities, what I'm saying, to add a third, and we didn't, and then we got punished as football goes. Ridiculously, and it is a little concern. But for me, I thought Bolly, who's someone who's meant to be a leader, he just looked so out of his depth last night.
Well, I don't know. Was it someone said that Bolly started one game in the last 18 months, is it?
Yeah, something like that. Might have been Bournemouth at home or something like that.
Yeah.
First game of last season, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I was surprised. Is at the end of his career. I mean, I like with Willy Bolly. I'm not going to sit here and say he's crap, this, that, and the other. It's just legs have gone, and he's probably is a champion. Maybe not even a championship player now. We all know he was there as Nuno's right-hand man, and we all accepted that. We all accepted that he was kept on. He got that contract extension because he was a bit of the man in between. He was probably, I imagine, I know we heard it with Cooper with the Andre Ayew, wasn't it? Andre Ayew was Cooper's mediator, dare you say. And I imagine Bolly was very similar. You've got a player who will sit on the bench, maybe not even look to play, and be what Nuno's basically keep calm head on all the lads.
I suppose he could speak a few languages as well.
Yeah,
he's a good guy to have around the change room, isn't he?
But I say the same in that put Yates in the back bracket. We don't need cheerleaders. We don't need cheerleaders. We need players that. It's like Army Lee when people are saying, we're getting knocked out of cups, or at least it's one less. There were players there now that won't play. They won't play now. Like, that's them done for the season. And I put a 1 year in that. A 1 year on the bench last night. Like, you know, when the season, if we'd have gone into Europe and then we watched it and players are getting knocks, a 1 you might look at it and think, well, I might get a game in League Cup because, like you say, it's the smallest trophy. You've got Cunha, probably thought, I've impressed tonight. I might start the next one. You've got Abbott when the Europe starts and we're playing the competitions. These are players on the fringe, like what Lee said, who aren't going to get a chance now. And we could have got a drawn against Grimsby next round. Then we're in the quarterfinals. And I know it's all right saying, oh yeah, that's being overconfident, but that's the reality of it. The reality of that was comfortable. We put aside what we thought was comfortable, but the two players who you could question, the other three, because the keeper he wasn't out scot-free. They've let us down massively.
Yeah. And
that was the capitulation. And they're your leaders. They're the lads that you've got to turn to. I mean, I've said it in the group chat. I put Gibbs White and Hudson-Odoi in that category. They've come on at 2-0 and we've lost 3-2. They should come on they should come on against Swansea at 2-0 up, and Swansea shouldn't touch the ball. They should not touch the ball. We've seen it all the time when Premier League. We've seen it at our level when the best. We've seen it against the better teams in the league. We'll be 2-0 down. They'll make a load of changes, and it just kills us. we can't touch the ball. The ball don't go into play. They just see the game out like they're a level above.
We was doing that last season, weren't we?
Yeah,
Ourselves.
and they've let Ange down massively, and I can't see, like you say with Bolly, I can't see him getting in a match day squad. I don't think Ryan Yates should get in a match day squad again, because what they did last night is just unforgivable. It's basics of football. It's people say, yeah, but they're in there because they're committed, and they didn't look committed last night. They didn't look committed that last 20 minutes. They looked like players that was just, well, we'll beat these. And I just don't, I don't get where it's come from, where a player of that ability thinks they can go through the motions, because that's believing your own hype, isn't it? That's thinking, well, I can go on against, I play in Premier League, I'm captain for Nottingham Forest, I can go and play against these at second gear. And they can't. It can't. It needs to be, they need to be at it from the first minute to the last. There might be some players that can. Your Zinchenko's, where they've got absolute unbelievable levels of ability. Douglas Luiz, who's not kicked a ball for, well, how long? What is it? What did we say? He played 45 minutes of pre-season.
Yeah,
but you don't. They just looked levels above, and the lads who we've questioned on this podcast prove yet again why we've questioned him, because we watch it and we don't see it with what's the word? Rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah, blinkered glasses.
We see what's coming. We know exactly what's coming, because we can see like they're getting on top of us, and we're not going to. Them certain personnel aren't going to be able to turn the game on its head. They're not. If it goes the opposite way, they start making errors. They look like they're passing on responsibilities. You look at the header. I think it was the first goal. The lad's on Yates' left shoulder. He then runs across Bolly. If you watch it, it looks like there's no communication. It looks like they're not. It doesn't. And then they're not even attacking the ball. They're just passing it on. We've seen it. We've seen it with Forest fans. We've seen it for years, haven't we? And we thought we'd lost it. We thought we'd lost that mentality. But since the end of last season, it's creeped back in. And I'm a big believer now. We need to wipe the slate clean. We need to start afresh. There needs to be some big calls made, because I'm not ultra negative. I'm not. But we've seen it with football teams before. It only has to fester on for a bit longer, and then you're in a rut, aren't you? Whereas I think we could nip it in the bud now and make some massive, massive decisions as a club and push on.
Yeah. Anything to add, Lee?
Yeah, I was just thinking of the this stat we've got with the academy lads. While Danny was talking, then I actually think last night was a bit of a missed opportunity. I know this is me being a bit captain hindsight, but I actually think Abbott should have played last night, to be honest, because if Zach Abbott doesn't step up and get in match day squads this year, I actually think that record is going to go, because there is no way on this earth, when Nicholas Dominguez is fit, that Ryan Yates gets in the match day squad for me. I can't see who is dropping off of that bench to get him in there. And again, Danny's just said, everyone knows my views on Ryan Yates. I think as a bloke, he's fantastic. He epitomises everything that Nottingham Forest should be about. But in terms of this Nottingham Forest squad in 2025-26, where we are, what competitions we're playing in, what sort of club our owner wants us to be, for me, I don't see who he gets in that squad ahead of. And if you are putting him in the squad, it's purely for that record and for sentimental reasons. And it's just going to kill us. I just can't see. I used to think there was an argument where, even for someone who doesn't really rate him that much as a footballer at Premier League level, I used to think there was an argument that when you're seeing games out, he's ideal to chuck on. Get in the you want him in the trenches with you, sort of thing. I just don't see it anymore. I wanted someone in the trenches last night when they're pushing for an equaliser in the 93rd minute or whatever it was, and he's failed to do something that you teach a kid at under 10s to do and stop the cross at source. I'd rather he got stuck in there and gave a penalty away. To me, we get told all the time that he's really good at tackling. Just get yourself in there, just get in his face, just make sure whatever you do, that ball does not come across the goal. He's nowhere near him. I mean, yeah, I'm just staggered. I think it's really disappointing. It's everything that we told Ryan Yates is that he didn't do in that situation. I'm starting to lose the will with these constant arguments that he's committed and he gets stuck in and he fouls a lot and he wasn't committed at all in that situation. So I'm lost. I think that record goes this season because I just don't see who. You can't be leaving £30 million players like Hutchinson and McAtee off the bench to compensate for someone who offers very little to change a game for us in our favour.
Yeah, I mean,
you've got Dominguez. Sorry, you've got Dominguez to come back in as well.
Yeah, that's what Lee's saying. I mean, that second goal, I mean, Yates doesn't stop the cross. Bolly allows the defender to come, the attacker to come across him, and John Victor's jumped out of the way. So, take your pick of who you want to blame. But we'll go for some comments. So, Glenn's put, Ange's now had a good look at the most of his squad and a few more training sessions for Ange to make his assessment on who wants it most. The Burnley lineup will be interesting to say the least. Obviously, Tom Newton's picked up on what you said, Danny, just like Declan Rice on Saturday kills the game. Mark's put that was a big kick up the arse for a lot of the lads. And then also Glenn's put on, added an extra, unless players show how much they want it, they won't play. Ange takes no prisoners when it comes to attitude. And James put, Andrew will make the big calls he has to. He wants players to give 100%. His future depends on it, which is exactly right, to be honest, because he's only got 18 months. He's already got people out with their pitchforks, even though I don't give blame to Ange yesterday. I actually thought what he was doing was quite right. We were trying to go for a third goal because it is typical Forest to sit back and wait. And Swansea didn't look like they were going to score. I admit that. I don't think they did. They scored 3 goals from really poor and inept defending. The third one, I mean, it's an unbelievable strike from Galbraith to hit the crossbar. The follow-up from Cameron Burgess is fair enough. He's hit the ball well. It's gone through the goalkeeper. And I know, it's a quick shot. He probably doesn't know what's happened after it's hit the post. So fair enough. I could probably give him a bit of leniency, but he's got nowhere near any of the goals, the keeper. The defending was bad. I really don't know what else to say about that. But we'll move on to Saturday, I guess, Danny. Obviously, Burnley, they played really well against Liverpool, probably deserved something out of the game, were really, really resilient. Could be a bit of a different one after they've watched us the last couple of weeks. They might rub their hands together and think that it's a game that they can get some points out of, especially being at Turf Moor.
Yeah, 100%. Massive game. But I'd probably say it's a game that you'd want as a manager. It is, because it's a game where we have got a better squad than them. It's a game where if we go out and do what we should do, we should beat them. So, and maybe, like you said, they might look and I watched the Liverpool game. Yeah, they did well. They were resilient, but they were never going to win it. They was never going to win it, which, I mean, I've got no issues with that. I imagine Burnley fans ain't got no issues with that. But we've said it before. I think we said it last season. Said it under Cooper. It's all right playing like that, but if you lose, even if it's against Liverpool, you've lost. So they might look at it and think, well, maybe we need to have a bit more of a go at Forest, which will open them up. They've got some good individuals, but as a team, we've got more than enough to beat them. So it's interesting who we pick. So that's the big question, because we've seen it before. When none of us know what's in Ange's head, we've seen it before. We could all predict that if Nuno was in charge, we could all probably predict, regardless of what happened. Like, say that fixed game happened under Nuno last night, we know who's starting Saturday night. We know that he's going with the same back four. Zinchenko's probably coming in midfield. I dare say he's starting Sangare, Anderson, and Gibbs White in midfield, and not starting Louise. This is if Nuno was manager, and he'd probably stick Hudson-Odoi on and Wood, because he never variated from that. I mean, we've seen it. So, but this is different now. We've got a manager who's cast his eyes on stuff, and I see what the comments saying about, oh yeah, I want players that give 100%. I think he'll want more than that. I don't think he's going to want players that will just give 100% and that's it. I think he'll want players who's got ability. He might have players that give it 90%, don't look interested in training, but if they've got ability and they perform and they do it for him on a Saturday, because at the end of the day, we're going to have the ball a lot more. We all know this. It's all right having players who just give it 100%, but don't look after the ball and they're running around like man on a mission. We don't need that. We need players that are going to come, show the quality, show why we've paid money for these players, show why we've got scouts all over the world that's picked these players up. So, and like I've just said, we're better than Burnley. We are. It's a massive, massive game though. It could turn. If we lose to him, there'll be players calling for Ange's head. There's no doubt. If we draw to him, there'll be players calling for Ange's head. There's no doubt. If we do, that's where we are. It's like because
it's
that's
just
win
and nothing else. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's a win and nothing else.
I mean, part of me it does wonder. It's going to be difficult because I'm with you in that camp, Danny. I think we'll have a lot of the ball, but does Ange he just needs to get a win no matter how it comes, I guess.
Yeah, it does. It does. But what was that? We've had one good performance this season, and we had a good half last night. Well, a good 60 minutes last night. But we've had one good performance, haven't we? Let's be right. We played against Brentford. We played them off the park. It was brilliant. Best football we've seen for ages. Palace, we played them when they just lost Eze. Everything was a bit up in the air, and they had all that stuff with the Europe, so they were a bit flat. We never, other than the chance at the end, we were never going to win it really.
Yeah.
West Ham was an absolute car crash. Us in the group chat, worst we've seen for years. Arsenal, we didn't lay a glove on him. They might as well have just walked out, said to him, just give him a 3-0 win. We'll go back on bus. Like, that was the level of that performance. So they've got to pull something out the bag. They've got to pull something out the bag, and this is it now. It's a fresh start. We all knew, like you say, he didn't have much time for the Arsenal game. He didn't. Ange didn't. He has now. He's had time. He's had training with him. He's seen what they can do. I'm excited to see what side it picks, because if it's the same players in, I feel like we're just going to be doing the same stuff over and over again. I think there's got to be a big shake-up, really.
Yeah.
Got to be a big shake-up.
I mean, Lee, who do you see coming in on Saturday that played last night, maybe in combination? Because I think it's safe to say the back five will probably choose itself come Saturday. I think Nico Williams has got to be restored. I think obviously you got the two of Murillo and Milenkovic themselves to come back in as well. So it's then kind of midfield with Anderson and that front four, I guess, because there's a lot of choice there and a lot of, I think there's everyone's stake to claim in some capacity, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Backwell looks good. Yeah, interesting what Danny said about Hudson-Odoi earlier. I'm also a big fan. My very brief take on Hudson-Odoi is I thought he was very good for a Nuno system on the basis of he gets back and he's capable of then therefore carrying the ball. I'm not sure we'll need that quite so much if Ange gets his system to click. So yeah, I do think he's perhaps a little bit at jeopardy with Backwell looking so positive in the moments we've seen him so far. So I'd like to see him play. I think this is the point where we persist with Luiz in midfield, to be honest. I think he looked good last night. To say what I was quite, again, looking at the extended highlights, I think what I was quite pleased with, he doesn't show signs that he's not really played much football. I know he played 27 times for Juve, but I think he was coming off the bench a lot. And obviously, he didn't do much pre-season, but yeah, he looks to have he's very capable of moving the ball quickly in tight spaces, which I think is very important for us getting on the attack quickly. So I'd like to see him play. Yeah, the rest of it still picks itself a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, there's an argument. I think it was a bit strange that Callum Wendo perhaps didn't start last night. So is he going to be Ange's striker going forward? I still think that would be a little bit harsh on Ward, but again, it might be a case of horses for courses with certain games and with Europe on Wednesday. Yeah, I am concerned based on it's nothing to do with the football we played in the first half. It does give me hope that if we play like that against Burnley, we can, are Burnley capable of scoring 3 against us? Our first team, our first 11. Who knows in this league, because it's a bit crazy. But yeah, it's just a mentality thing for me. I just hope that we score first. If we don't score first, I think it'll be a similar long afternoon, because they'll just do what they did against Liverpool and sit in for 90 minutes or however long's left when they've scored. So yeah, it's difficult to be positive. I've got to be honest. In terms of the personnel we've got, it's great that we're talking about all these players. I just worry that kind of there's still a bit of a hangover from last season with not getting the Champions League, and then with the manager going, that the players clearly loved because they've all whacked it all over Instagram and all this, that, and the other. So yeah, it's Bakker and Louise are the two I'd like to see play, but I still anticipate that it'll be a familiar looking 11, to be honest.
Yeah, Danny, would you agree or disagree on any of that?
Oh, I agree with it. Like I say, most of it is what it is. We all can see it. I mean, for me though, it's like I said before. I think we've got to make some big decisions. I've said it on Twitter. I think he's got to make Milenkovic captain now. Make a big stance. It's like, because I feel like Milenkovic has been off it, but we've all clamoured for him to be captain. Gibbs White, it might take some pressure off Gibbs White because he's struggling this year. I don't care. He is really struggling. Make Milenkovic captain. Make him the leader. He's going to play 90 minutes every game is available. He's not going to get bought off on 60 minutes. He's not going to be sat on bench doing team talks like Nuno Adiate's doing when he wasn't even starting games. He's going to be the leader. I'd make him captain. I'd put Louise straight in. Going to be controversial. I'd drop Gibbs White. I'd put Sangare in there and play like a midfield three, and then play two wide men that are going to be a bit more attacking. Then, like you say, Hudson-Odoi, because I do agree with Lee, is a ball carrier, is a player that you can trust with the ball in your own area, and he won't lose it. He won't, and that's, we don't know. If we play with like a midfield three, put wingers higher, we're going to get at him. And I'm probably in the camp just that I'd back Wood against him. I'd back Wood to start against him if he's got wingers getting the balls into the box. And yeah, that's where I'd go. And I know people will say, oh, you're crazy with the Gibbs White situation, but last night was 30 minutes for him to come on and get a bit of form together, 2-0 up against the Championship side who's out the game. And he just looked off it. He looked off it. And I know people are going to say, oh yeah, but it's not fair to drop him. Has he been better than Sangare? I'd say no. So why is it fair to just chuck Sangare out? And it's like people say, oh yeah, but the creativity Gibbs White. If he's not creating, then I'm sure Anderson and Louise can create. Get them. Look, and I don't think Ange, like you say, we'll see what he looks to do, because if he is going to push wingers on, I think we can't really be playing with 4-2 and basically 4 up front, because that's what it will be. Do you know what I mean? That's the system that it will be if we do play like a 10. And I'm an advocate for Gibbs White playing deeper, but if he doesn't want to play deeper, which, I mean, I don't know, I'm just guessing, but if he doesn't want to play deeper and he wants to be a 10, then something has to give. And for me, get Louise in there, Sangare, just a bit of a base to build from. Like I think, like we've all said, we've conceded 9 in 3 games. Maybe be a bit more conservative as a solid midfield, and that's where I'd go with it. And like I say, I'd make Milenkovic captain. And I'm not the biggest Milenkovic. I mean, his quality, I like him, I think, but I've been very critical of him this year. But I think he's one who needs to kick up his arse, and that might be make him captain, given the responsibility. Because people say, "Oh, it don't mean no, it don't mean it does. It does." Yeah. You'll leave it. If you're club captain and you're leading team out first game at Betis in Europe, you can't tell me that don't mean anything. Do you know what I mean? You can't tell me it. It does. You have the pride you feel, no matter what level of football. The pride you feel when you go up and do the coin toss in the middle of that. You feel 6 inches bigger than you are. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what it is. Because you are. That's what you're representing. And Milenkovic is that. We know that he is that. We all clamour that he's this leader. He hasn't looked like it. Don't get me wrong this season, but maybe that's what he needs. And for me, you need big calls. And I think we're at a point now. Ange's got to make these big calls, massive ones. We can't just, like what Lee says, it's like we can't just be going through that motion of, well, we know who's going to be picked. We know who's going to be picked, because it's got to change. It's not working. And it's not just this season. We've seen it at the end of last season, didn't we? As soon as we got found out, which we did, we were like, oh, we don't know what to do here, and it become that obvious to the point where we all said he would bring in Jota Silva on at right back. Do you know what I mean? Just because he's a player that he had some form of trust in. So it's not like a fresh thing, like a knee-jerk reaction. It's more like, I feel like this is a crossroads, a massive, massive crossroads, and there's calls that have got to be made, which is going to shake the whole changing room up, because I think it needs shaking up. Because like they said, they're going to be gutted. They've lost Nuno. They're probably going to be gutted because they bought in players and their spots are now being questioned. I mean, who thought we'd be in this conversation that Gibbs White, there's an argument for him to come out of the team? Do you know what I mean?
The funny argument is it's him, like you'd think, oh, if Gibbs White's coming out, McAtee's going to be in the team. And we're even saying both of them aren't going to be in this team because we just think Louise, Anderson and Sangare is probably the way to go against Burnley, because we are going to have the ball a lot in front of their back four. So it kind of makes sense in that way. I think what I liked yesterday was McAtee was running into channels. I know he didn't have a great game, but the way he ran into that channel, Savona's ball was really good, and he put it across the goal, and that's what you want from the attacking midfielder. Just strikers, I think strikers, and I think backward, I think has to play. I just think I've seen enough of him. What you're going to get, he's going to get to the byline. He's going to put balls in the box. He's going to vary up his play as well. He's going to cut in. He's going to go on the outside. I just think he's that type of winger. Left wing is really interesting because it's, do you keep Callum there? Do you go with Endoy, who's going to be better on that side? That's his natural side. Striker's an interesting one because Wood will be in between the posts, but he's not going to trouble their centre halves. He's not going to make them run in channels and places where they don't know, but his movement can be very good to buy him some space and get those cutbacks. So it's a battle there with the strikers, because I think Igor also offers something very different. So very interesting. I mean, Lee, how do you see it Saturday? How do you think there'll be a massive change in lineup?
Who knows? I mean, what I would just add to what Danny's just said about Gibbs White, I think there is an argument for him to come out now, because ultimately we've shipped 9 goals in 3 games. I'm not saying that's his fault, but we've lost every game. So Ange is searching for a bit of a winning formula, and until he finds that, then he's Gibbs White's not immune to keeping his place when he's done very little this season, and that's from someone who's a big Gibbs White fan as well. So, yeah, I just we just need by hook or by crook a result at Burnley, don't we? Because it is still a good opportunity before the next international break. Burnley and Sunderland at the start of the season, you'd say that's 2 decent fixtures in a row. I know Sunderland have started well, but ultimately, we're 4 years into this Premier League run now, so they should still be looking at that after what we did last season as a tough fixture for them. Obviously, on current form, they'll see it as a winnable game. But if we go and get a good win against Burnley, all of a sudden it becomes we're favourites again. So, and then we've got Newcastle before the international break, which again, you don't know which Newcastle's going to turn up. So I don't know. It's weird because obviously in the group chat my head's spun off in the last 24 hours, but to be fair, it's all in our hands. It's all to play for. It's very early days. Beat Burnley. All of a sudden, we're on a bit of a high going into the Sunderland game. If you beat them, I just think at this stage of the season, it's a good time to put 2 wins together, because you'll be knocking on the door of the top 6 straight away. If you're leaving it 2 or 3 months before you start putting, wins together, you're going to be embroiled in battles you don't want to be embroiled in. And like I've just said, Burnley have got as many points as us at the minute. They've started okay. Can they sustain it? Possibly not. Leeds were massively underwhelming in the transfer market, but will they get enough points at home to stay up? Probably. You wouldn't discount that because of who Leeds are and what they tend to do at home with those fans, as much as I hate to say it, because that'll just make their heads bigger. And then you've got Sunderland, who have done what we did, and by that I mean they've come up and spent 160 million, signed 18 new players, is it, however many it is? Certainly 10. And I mean, they look like they're going to be nowhere near relegation at the minute. So, yeah, it's going to be... That's not me saying I think we're in a relegation battle already, but it can quickly turn into that. If we lose at Burnley and then all of a sudden go into the Sunderland game and they go and beat us, you're looking for the teams that are, were the ones fancied to be at the bottom at the start, and they're all 6-7 points above us. So, it's a big week, I feel, not just for Ange, but for, defining our season as well.
Yeah, I think Danny's kind of summed it up. We're at a bit of a crossroads. So I think win on Saturday, I think that'll calm a lot of people down. I think Ange, the players, I think the fans as well, especially because we're just so used to Forest PTSD, and that came out in abundance last night in that WhatsApp group. I nearly bloody left it. It was that depressing. I'm not going to lie to you. Can I get some score predictions off you both, Danny? I'll start with yourself.
I'm gonna go a scruffy 1-0 win.
I mean, I'll take a scruffy one at this rate. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a scruffy 1-0 win.
All right, Lee.
Well, I did say 2-0 Burnley in our group chat this morning.
Yeah,
This therapy session has been pretty useful.
So 1-0 Burnley.
I don't know. I think we'll win. I'll predict a win. I won't predict a defeat. Let's go for a 2-1. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet. I think we're too fragile mentally at the minute to keep a clean sheet. Yeah, I sense we might go 2-0 up and then they'll get one back. And then it's a bit of a rough ride. But yeah, let's go for 2-1.
I think we will win emphatically. I think actually this is the kick up the backside we need. And I think we'll win 4-1. I lie. I might put it on a bet. That's how I feel. Because why not? Bugger it. Like, I don't care what people say. Call it entitled. Call it whatever.
I don't think you've got very good odds on there being 5 goals in a game of football that Ange Postecoglou's overseeing, to be honest. There we go.
But like, I don't see why I should be so negative. The defense is good enough. I think the players are good enough. We've got the best centre midfielder in the world coming back in to play. I can't wait to watch him play. Just makes me excited every time. And Elliot Anderson, I just think he's fabulous. So I don't care. I'll wax lyrical about him all day, every day. But no, we'll end it there, guys. I think it's been a nice therapy session. We've had about nearly 300 people in here. So if you just want to drop a like and a subscribe, that would go a long way to helping us out. Hopefully we'll have a positive match review. But before then, we'll have a preview of a Burnley fan from. We've got Tom from No Nay Never, and that will come out tomorrow. So hopefully you'll all tune in then. But until next time, come on, you Reds.